Conference will now be recorded.
See, I wasn't kidding. We're really starting. Okay. You'll have to bear with me because we've got 45 people and I don't have Len, which I knew I wouldn't because it's his birthday this week and he's got family, and I don't have Dr. John and I don't have Ben. So I'm on my own. Anybody who's come in since we started the recording, we'll check in with you at the end to see if you need time. But right now we're past the 10 minutes. So you got me tonight. It's the third Monday of the week of the month, and it should be Len. But like I just said, it is Len's birthday week. He's got a whole bunch of people, and so we switched weeks this month because I was in San Francisco in the first week, so we should be doing fine. And thanks, Jim. If I need help, Captain Jim, if I need help, I'll let you know. All right, we have one new gent, and I used to know somebody called Nugent. Not anymore. And so we're going to go to that Nugent right away. I'm going to ask you a few questions, Mike. And if you could just sort of stay in line with the questions, it would help us. And then we'll give you plenty of time to talk. So, Mike Cunningham, and how old are you, Mike?
74.
Okay. And where do you live?
I live in Discovery Bay, California.
Oh, yes, I know exactly where that is. And there's at least one other person on this call who also knows where it is. Not you, somebody else. Are you signed up with us? Did you, do we have your email address?
I don't think you do, but I will make sure you get it.
Yeah, just put it in the chat window. Oh,
Okay.
For your information, the chat window are the two little boxes next to the 45, the little figure with 45. You can put it in there, send it to me privately, send it to the organizers. We ask you for it because we send out a reminder newsletter every week. And
Great. Okay.
This week we got over 60% of people who received it opened it, which is pretty good. And there's a lot of good information that's in there. How did you find out about us?
I was searching for information on support groups, and AnCan popped up. Also, my daughter sent me some of your videos.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think they were very interesting.
Okay, so you've seen this procedure before with other people in the hot seat.
Yes, I really like the interaction.
Okay, when were you? What year were you first diagnosed?
I'm very recent. I was diagnosed in let's see, the end of January this year, 2026.
Okay. And when you were diagnosed, what was your PSA and your Gleason score?
My PSA was a surprisingly low 7. My Gleason score was a frighteningly high 9, 4 plus 5.
4 plus 5. And were you, I'm guessing now, but I think there's only two places that you could have been diagnosed. One would have been Sutter and the other would have been Kaiser. Which one are you?
Kaiser.
Okay. Well, I was treated actually at Roseville. That's where I got my seeds put in many years ago, 2007. I had seeds put in at Roseville, so so I know the area a little bit. Who's your? I'm figuring you're probably still with a urologist.
Yes, I've gone to, well, I've basically settled on radiation at this point after a number of consults. And my urologist, are you seeking the doctor's name?
Yes. Who's your urologist?
Dr. Rajni Sethi.
Rodney Seppi, SCPI?
No, Rajni, Rajnisethi.
Setti.
And that's a
Got
gal.
it. Got it. And he's your uro. Well, you know what happens at Kaiser is your urologist becomes your quarterback for the whole of the treatment.
Right, that's what I'm gathering.
Yes. So we'll talk about that momentarily. Did you get what scans did you get?
Well, I initially had a CT and a ultrasound, and then after doing research, understood that PSMA PET was key. So I got with Kaiser, a coordinator, and managed to get a PSMA CT scan organized, and that was completed. So those are the 3 scans. An MRI is on order currently.
Okay, so what was that CT scan? Was that a bone scan, a technetium 99 scan?
No, it was a PSMA PET. I think that's accurate in terms of describing the scan that's.
What were the other 2 scans?
Oh, no, the other 2 were simply ultrasound, a abdominal ultrasound. There was a suspicion I had bladder issues, and then a regular. I'm sorry, I don't know what.
Okay, so that regular would have been a technetium, what they call a technetium 99 scan.
Yeah,
which is really just it's an old scan. I had it back in 2007. And they do it on anybody who is a Gleason 8 or more, Gleason 4+4 or higher, and it's to check if they see anything in the bone. So from the technetium 99 and the PSMA, did they see anything?
No, the PSMA saw no metastasis to lymph nodes or bones.
Excellent.
However, yes, so the answer was no.
Okay. So, since you told us you're now in a mode of trying to figure out your treatments, and you're a little bit similar to me, have they staged you? Did they tell you what stage of disease you're at? Are you a T2 or a T3?
I'm a T3b, but there is a little bit of contention about that staging at this point, due to the uncertainty with respect to seminal vesicle invasion. My oncologist, Dr. Sethi, reviewed my PSMA CT and did not see seminal vesicle involvement, and has ordered an MRI to get a better handle on that. So
yeah, well, he should have ordered an MRI before he did your. I'm assuming you had a biopsy to get a to get a 4+5. Did they not do an MRI before the biopsy?
No, and I agree with you, but I'm learning. I've had about 6 weeks to figure this out.
Inexcusable. I mean, it's just inexcusable in this day and age. And we've gone to battle with AUA over this. It's just wrong. So if they think you're T3b, that means they see the seminal vesicle involvement on both sides, seminal vesicle involvement or disease on both sides. And did they see, they must have gotten that off of the biopsy, the seminal vesical involvement, if they didn't see it.
The biopsy, let me back up, and I got to this point in an unusual way, I believe. So the prostate biopsy did not show seminal vesicle involvement. where that got into the mix is my initial symptoms were hyperthemia, well, blood in the urine, and I got with a urologist, and he did a cystoscopy, saw a inflammation at the seminal vesicle, and started with a urethral biopsy, and that is where the lesion was qualified as cancerous with ductal features. And I think that's where the seminal vesicle language began being used. And this is why I mentioned earlier on, there seems to be a debate as to whether the seminal vesicles are involved or not.
Got it.
Then once we got the urethral biopsy, obviously I moved right on to a PET scan, and then the
Have you had a prostate cancer biopsy?
Yes.
Okay. And what and from that prostate cancer biopsy, they determined you were a 4+5, and what else did they determine from that biopsy?
Well, they determined that both sides of the prostate were involved. However, the left side of the prostate was a 3+3, and the right side was the 4+5, and they identified I'm sorry, I don't have the paper in front of me, but paraneural invasion,
Right.
and slight penetration of the prostate shell.
Okay, so they talked about EPE, extra prostate extension. Did they talk about cribriform?
Yes, not within the prostate biopsy, but the urethral biopsy did show signs of cribriform.
And did they say whether it was large or small?
I don't believe that was.
It wasn't.
I don't believe that was.
And they talked. Did they say you were intraductal or ductal?
Ductal.
Ductal. Okay, that's a little different from intraductal. And we actually have one of our moderators who was ductal.
Okay.
I think Jeff Marchi has been good enough to point out that Dr. Sethi is your radiation doctor, not your urologist.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure how to answer. I feel like sort of an idiot here.
It's okay. No, you're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing just great.
Still struggling a little bit with who's who in this universe.
Yeah. Well, typically at Kaiser, your urologist is the person that follows you right the way through. It's not usually the radiation oncologist. So whoever your urologist is right now, but it's easy to switch urologists. I have a recommendation, and that may work for you in the era of virtual appointments, because I don't know anybody who's really good at Roseville. They may well be. I just don't know anybody. But my doc is still practicing out of Terra Linda, and he's great. And if you could see him, he would. If you're going to stay at Kaiser, he would be your best bet. And his name is Joe Lee. Joe Shu Lee, HSU. He's great. I mean, I've recommended him to many, many, many people, and it's easy to get there. It's easy to get a second opinion with him. He doesn't push surgery. He's going to give you great advice. Now, normally, and for somebody like you, we would say get a second opinion on your slides. It may still be worthwhile, but I will say that you'd have to drop down from a 4+5 to a 4+3 to make a difference in your treatment. But I still think you might want to get a second opinion, especially given the confusion, which means sending both sets of slides to either Dr. Epstein or Dr. Zhao. I did that. I did the same thing. I paid for it myself. This was back in the day. It's not very expensive. And both those pathologists are way better than anybody who's at Kaiser.
Okay.
Jim Marshall, since you're my backup, I still don't have a Len or a Dr. John. Could you please put in the links and the details for in the chat window for Michael? And Michael, what you have to do is just call and ask them to send both sets of slides to whoever you prefer, either Dr. Zhao or Dr. Epstein.
Okay. Where are these gentlemen located?
They're both located in New York, and they will be sent, and they know us very well. You'll reach out to them. We'll give you all the information. We'll reach out to them. If we, you can call one of us up, and we can coach you through it. But it's not difficult, and I'm sure the pathology's been asked to do it before, and they send your slides off and let them reread what they're seeing. Now, let me ask you, have you done any type of genetic testing? Do you have any family history?
No, I don't have family history, but I've done I've delivered blood or had blood taken for the blood-based genetic testing. I've asked for the Decipher test, and that was, it's not indicated, was the response.
Well, it's indicated, but it's not indicated at Kaiser because they got to pay for it, and you're not paying for it. But the thing is that if it comes back with what we expect it to come back, the Decipher isn't going to make a lot of difference for you because your pathology is going to dictate. But the blood test they took is probably to see if you have an inherited mutation.
Right.
And that hasn't come back yet?
No, it is not. It was taken about 5 days ago.
Okay. So let's hear what your Dr. Sethi is recommending, and then we can give you some feedback as to whether that's good, whether it's bad, what you should be asking him, etc., etc.
Okay, fair enough. So she is proposing ADT, which I plan on beginning tomorrow, by the way. Lupron plus Casodex for the first 3 weeks. Then we will be doing, she's proposing to do HDR brachytherapy at the Dublin Cancer Center, followed up about 10 to 14 days later with EBRT radiation for 23 days at the Dublin Cancer Center.
Right.
And then a period of ADT for 24 months. I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
Right. And that's pretty much the gold standard, so he's giving you good advice. Now, back in the day, it's very close to what I did. I did 28 months. I was a 4+4 and a T3a. I did 28 months of hormone therapy. So today, anywhere between about 18 and 28 is advisable. if you're a T3, if you were a T2, you might get away with 12 months, which is what the research tends to say. But you may not need as much as 24 months, and we can give you papers on that, and you may get away with 18 months quite easily. But I would say right now, don't get your head into that. 12 months from now, we'll give you the papers that say why you should, come off at 12 or go on to 18. 24 probably is more than you need, but this is only something we're learning recently. HDR brachy, how are they going to do that? In one session or two sessions?
One session.
Okay. And one session, one application, or one session, two applications?
That I didn't know to ask.
Okay.
All I know is one session.
Okay. Well, I sort of didn't know that to ask, but I'm learning that also now. But they do two applications in a session. So that they can do it in the morning, and then they'll have you there, and then they'll have you back in the afternoon and do two sessions, or sometimes they only do one session. You should be drilling down with Seti as to how they plan to do it. Is he going to be doing any of this treatment or not?
She's going to be doing it.
The HDR and the
yes.
the IMRT, or just the HDR?
Just the HDR. There's a separate radiologist, Dr. Shaw, who will be doing what's it called? IVRT or
it's IMRT.
IMRT. Yeah.
Right. So that's again about right. 20 to 25 sessions sounds about right.
Yeah.
The only thing really, they want you to start taking the Castadex tomorrow. Is that right?
Well, I'm going to be getting the Lupron shot tomorrow, and then I was told to take the Castadex simultaneously.
No, you tell them you want to. I mean, I know what I would tell them, and what I did, and what should be done is you need to be taking that Castadex before.
How much? How long before?
10 to 15 days.
Okay.
Or let them give you a Firmagon shot, or highly unlikely they'll do it, but ask them for Orgovix. Although what I've heard is that Orgovix is now actually cheaper than Lupron.
Okay.
So
that would be on Orgovix for the duration. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can get them to put you on Orgovix, you don't need the Castadex, and it's a better drug.
Okay.
So, do you have any heart issues?
Oh, that I'm aware of, and
Okay, no, great. It makes it easier to argue for it. So, you can ask for the Orgovix, you might get it. If you're going to take a Lupron shot, make sure you've done at least 10 days of Castadex first.
Okay. What should be the total duration of Castadex?
15 days.
Okay. They gave me 21 days worth of pills, so I was thinking about doing them all. I'll do. So you're proposing I start?
I mean, it's fine. It's fine, but you need to have taken that, and the reason is because the Lupron can cause a jump in your testosterone before it goes down, and that can, if you've got any weakness and any micromets, it could spark them and it could cause damage, and it's been known to do it. That's why. And the Castadex kind of protects you from that.
That was my understanding. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Now,
I know that
but you need to do it first. Now, the big question is it worth getting your pathology reread? And here's what I would say. it wouldn't hurt, but it's unlikely to make any change given that we think that you are T3b. Now,
Okay.
what probably needs to get reread is that PSMA scan.
Right.
Because
Okay.
if you're not T3b, you're being overtreated. And what we want to make sure is that you're not overtreated.
Right. What component would be? Let's assume that the seminal vesicle isn't involved. What would be the component of overtreatment that you're referring to?
The HDR, or you wouldn't need both HDR and IMRT.
Okay.
You could get done in a lot less treatments. If you were T2B, T2A, you'd be T2A if you're only on one side.
Okay, got it. So
and you know, we need to confirm. You know, the ductal is confusing because it's not noted in the prostate, but it is noted on the urethral, so that would need to be confirmed. But if the ductal wasn't confirmed and you didn't have seminal vesicle, then you're getting way overtreated, and you might not need the ADT.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, given that I plan on, I mean, I physically have the Casodex at this point. Am I going to make a mistake by starting at this point? I hate to wait, but maybe that's just me being paranoid.
Well, first of all, you have time. So you have a good 4 months from when you were diagnosed, based on my own personal experience. That's what Jolie told me when I was diagnosed. Okay. So I'm not giving you medical advice, and you can confirm that, but I can tell you that in my case, I asked how long should I have, and he said 4 months, and so that was fine. Would it hurt to take the Casodex? Probably not. If you wanted to wait and get confirmation from the docs, I can see that Jim Marshall has put Epstein's information in, so let's just go with Epstein. It makes it easier than Zhao. Just reach out to Epstein. You can even call. And sometimes he picks up the phone himself. Don't be surprised.
Now, I have the chat here, and I see this excellent information. How do I retain this? Is there?
Yes. Okay. So what you can do is see those 3 little dots that are next to the push pin with the red dot?
Yes.
So click on those 3 little dots and you can download the chat.
Perfect. Got it. Okay.
So I know I've been doing a lot of talking, but I'm going to turn it over to anybody else right now. But you happen to be a situation where I really have the experience. I would say probably yes. Go send out both the urethral and the prostate, and see if Dr. Epstein thinks that you have perineural invasion. All right, go ahead, Jeff Markey, and stay on topic, please.
Yeah, when my doctor suspected, at Kaiser, suspected seminal vesicle invasion, so he did another biopsy checking for that. Did your doctor do that to check for seminal vesicle?
No.
No, but Jeff, they saw the seminal vesicle invasion from the intraductal, from the urethral, and then they did a prostate biopsy after the urethral. So they should have checked it from what they knew from the urethral.
True.
Jim Marshall, did you want to say something?
Mr. Mike, are you a veteran?
Yes.
Oh, bingo, bingo.
Well, you know,
No. Trust me, you're a veteran. That's all we need to know. Trust me.
Okay.
Okay. I will send you my contact info. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. I just from the veteran thing, I was, I looked into that earlier. I haven't explored it with this, but I was concerned about my income level. I'm not wealthy, but I've got a decent pension.
Mike, trust me. Income, I could be a multi-millionaire and I still get the VA pension. Or, excuse me, the VA disability, not the pension.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So does this qualify me as having a disability?
It depends. We can explore that.
Okay. I mean, I'm open, certainly.
Yeah, let us just say, and there are a bunch of guys who are on here. As far as VSOs go, Captain Jim is better than any of them. And we will find for you benefits that you never even thought you never even knew about. And before you're done, you'll be 130% disabled, and you didn't think there was anything wrong with you. I can tell you. So what we're going to do is when you send us your email, we will sign you up for our veterans benefits groups, and there's going to be and you're going to be very happy with us, right? We only ask for 10% of whatever you get, so it's very easy. But seriously, it's really, really worthwhile. Let's Jim Marshall, let's use veterans, please, or Captain Jim at AnCan.org. So there you go, veterans at AnCan, veterans at AnCan.org. And then okay. I've got Joe, I've got Jeff Markey telling me there's no Joe Shu. That's probably because it's Joseph Shu. And, again, I can't get everything, but let me just put the correction in there, unless he has finally retired, which he may have done, but I doubt it. Joseph Shu Lee. Oh, no, that's Jolie. Where's my Jolie reference? I think I got it. Lee. Joseph Lee. It's not helpful. I have to say, not helpful, Mr. Markey. I'm sorry. It's right here.
I did put my email in, by the way, fellows.
Yes, I see it. We've got it. And there's the, if you want a second opinion, if you need a great quarterback, he's the best. He's truly the best. Love him. All right. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say?
Mike, what branch were you in?
Navy, 71 to 77.
You got a couple of Navy vets here, and I'm going to tell you something. I put something in the chat box so you can see. Veterans, in Captain Jim, we trust.
Okay. Well, I'll certainly reach out to Jim. That's fantastic.
You got Tony Fig on here, too. He's Navy, too. He was a submariner, but he still counts as Navy.
I have to tell you, gentlemen, I spent my 4 years, I spent 2 years in school and then 4 years at Naval Air Station Bermuda. So I didn't have it rough.
Don't worry. Jim Marshall will figure out that you had a terrible time out there. Larry in Alaska.
I just wanted to say that if you're going to be on ADT for any length of time, ask your doctor about side effects of other hormone effects. When you suppress testosterone, you also suppress other hormones, principally estradiol. And if you take a supplement to that, it tends to be bone protective and reduce other side effects. So if they're amenable to a supplement, you can help with that.
Okay. I will. I've heard that, but I'm going to note it down here and certainly ask about that.
So what we suggest you do, and Captain Jim will put this link in there. Listen to our estradiol chat that we did a couple of weeks ago. Right. Jim, you'll find it on the front page of the AnCan website. Dr. Pierre, you have a comment.
I'd recommend that he get a DEXA scan early on also.
Yeah. Great comment.
Oh, yeah.
That is a bone scan? Is that
yes.
Yes. I've got that. I do have that on order.
Different than a bone scan. It's to check your bone density.
A bone density scan.
Okay, what was the name of the scan again, sir?
DEXA, D-E-X-A.
Okay.
D-E-X-A. That's most likely what they have on order because they've already done a CT bone scan. So
I'll verify that.
Right.
If you're not on if you're not on an exercise program already, get on one. It helps you endure the side effects.
I've been pretty good about working out, and I'm at it almost every day. So I think I've got that one base covered. If I can keep up the energy, that is.
All right, and just a quick comment for Jeff G. Yes, Jeff, the meeting started 50 minutes ago because you and I are both in Arizona. And when the clocks move, so does the meeting time move. And that's right there in big red letters in the reminder. So it's usually a good idea to open and read the reminder. There's a lot of good stuff based in there. And one other, a couple of other quick things. One is that I got a DEXA scan right at the beginning. Dr. Joe ordered it for me, and I found out that I was osteoporotic. So that was a big surprise. Age 56. So yes, they should have ordered it. And Jeff Markey says get a testosterone baseline test, and he's absolutely right. You should do that. All right. I am going to move on to the questions, if that's okay. Anything else on your mind, Mike, before we move on?
Well, I think the one concern I had is if I start testosterone, is that going to prejudice any future decisions? And it sounds like that's not going to be a huge problem. Did I hear that right?
Well, you mean if you start bicalutamide? You said testosterone.
Yes, if I start with the
yeah, no, I mean it's not going to change things that much. It's not going to impact your testosterone, so you can still get a testosterone test. So yeah, you can do it for. I mean, I can't give you medical advice, but I don't see. If it were me, I probably wouldn't do it. But if I did do it, I don't think it would affect me at all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And that's about what I had.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to sort of go down here in the order that people showed up. So if you didn't get here till late, we won't get to you till late, including the discussion about this trial. So let's start with RJ, because he was here right at the beginning. But he couldn't get his mic to work.
Is my mic working now?
Yes.
Woo-hoo!
you're doing great, and you're looking pretty good. So go ahead, RJ.
Oh, good. So my update is that I finished my chemo. I had my 6th infusion last Tuesday. So I'm on day 7. So I'm not sure that I'm starting to get better, but I'm not getting worse. I'm in that in-between state and looking for some side effects to start disappearing, especially from the chemo. I talked to the PA. She said, after a couple of weeks, much better. It may take a couple months. So that's kind of where I'm at. And next leg of the journey, I'm looking to keep trying to kill as much cancer as possible, but that seems to be the way to do that is through, I don't know, what do we call it now? APM, androgen pathway modulation. So I'm on the Lupron plus abiraterone, and I'm planning to keep that going, but then also my question is around now my thinking is I would like to stop that and at least take a holiday and see how that goes. Like I had a lot of escalation. And one thing that's a little bit concerning to me, I'm kind of okay with it, but I have no idea how much cancer I have, and there's
right.
Figure that out.
Right.
And so I think the thing to do is keep going for some period of time on this ADT plus the ARPI, and then stop. And so one question there is, well, how long? It seems like a couple of years, like we were saying, like Rick, you were saying you had 28 months back in the day. It seems like it's, maybe a couple of years is right. I think the trend is going towards less time because there's a balance of, well, kill the cancer and then also like go as long as you can before you have progressive.
How long have you been on it so far?
So I've been on it for about 9 months so far.
Right. So this is the question that we get from most people who have gone through a bunch of treatment like you. Everybody wants to know, when can I get off it? When can I get off it? The wisdom is to probably do at least 18 months to begin with, at least, if not 2 years. It really depends on your medical oncologist, which is Schweitzer. No, isn't that who you see? Yeah.
Yep.
So it depends on them. They may let you off, but they probably want to see you somewhere between 18 months and 2 years. I'm opening this one up. Who wants to talk about how long to stay on?
And I would say, like, my corollary question on that is, should I keep going with Lupron and abiraterone, which seems to be working to me, or should I switch from LHRH agonist to antagonist, like a Orgovyx, because then that takes less time to come off of, or should I just ride that train and keep the momentum?
Right. So I would, if it were me, I'd get onto Orgovyx as soon as I could. So it's a better drug. You're going to recover quicker. And if you can get your insurance to cover the Orgovyx, I would switch over to the Orgovyx next time you go before your next Lupron shot. That's my 2 cents. If it were me, that's what I'd be doing.
Okay.
And stick with the Abby and prednisone. Anybody have any comments? Boy, you're a quiet lot tonight. Oh, Jim Marshall. Go ahead, Jim Marshall.
Okay, you should not do what I did, but I was on the Lupron and Weabi for close to 5 years before it was within vogue to take a treatment holiday. But I believe because of that, I have been on a treatment holiday now for approaching 4 years. So I don't know if it's, although I was a Gleason 3-4.
Right.
So I don't know if that played into it. So
Yeah.
I figured I hit it hard up front, and I am enjoying the fruits of that. And besides that, I tolerated everything quite well because I then exercised practically every day on the bicycle. Not, great riding Gore-Tex suits, but just getting out and
Jeff
pumping
Markey, what have
the
you
bike.
got? You're muted. You're muted, Jeff Markey. We'll come back to you. I thought I saw another hand. Steve
I'm
L.
sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Yeah,
I know.
we'll come back. We'll come back to you. Hold your comments, Steve L.
Yes, I guess I've been on Lupron over 4 years now, and being metastatic and still showing some cancer. Have they got any plans to try and figure out how much cancer residual you have?
No, my understanding is that is really hard to do. Well, I'm still on this doublet therapy. Like if my PSA doesn't go up, and like even if I was to pay for a PSMA, or to be able to convince the insurance to do that without having a rise in PSA, which is hard, like they can't, even with a liquid biopsy, there's no circulating tumor DNA to find anything. So I don't know how much cancer I have. I'm not sure how much cancer I had, but I was de novo metastatic. They had like 8 spots. Only one of them was a bone lesion that showed up on the CT scan. But, and I would say Schweitzer is kind of like, you should just stay on this forever. And I did bring up with him the intermittent and taking a treatment holiday, and he wasn't super excited about that, but he said, well, we do that, but after you're on long-term, ADT, that's something.
A couple of things on that score. The first is I wouldn't even raise it for another 12 months, because if he's not that much in favor of it, you're not going to get anywhere, and you probably need to do 18 months. The second thing is he's not strictly correct, because if there is still cancer that's in your bones or wherever it was seen before, it's making PSMA. So we could do a PSMA scan right now, and even though your PSA is low, if the cancer was still prevalent, it would be making PSMA. So we can see how effective the treatment has been. And usually with men who are metastatic, they do scan them at least once a year, once every 18 months, even when they're on, even before they're castrate resistant.
Okay,
so
then I can ask for
push
that.
him a little bit, and if he says, well, we're not going to see anything, you say, well, what about the cancer that's in my bone? If it hasn't all gone, we're going to see if it's still there.
Jake, has your nadir gone to 0 on your PSA?
Yes, it's undetectable now.
Very good. Okay.
And it got there in 2 months, which my understanding is that's a really good thing.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Yep. Really good. All right, Jeff Markey, and then we got to move on.
I know a couple of guys over at Cancer Support Community who are Gleason 9, and one guy is 5 times he's gone on the holiday. he's lasted a year and a half the first time, and each time it's a little bit less time, but staying, as Rick says, get at least a year of undetectable, and you drop off and see what happens. Get monthly tests and see if your PSA starts to rise. And the people that with very aggressive cancer have gone quite a long time to get to staying off, and some of them have gone years, but it's worth trying at least.
Okay, if it were me, I'd stay on 18 months, which has been my mantra since the beginning. Jimmy G didn't agree. He came off after 15 months, but that's what I always say. If it were me, I'd stay on at least 18 months. All right, we're going to move on. Is that okay, Mr. Smith?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. And like internally, that's why I kind of brought it up, is I like having a plan. And so I think, like my plan will be to go for, it turns out 22 months. If I just keep on this, it will go for 22 months. I will check in to see if Schweitzer and Primera will let me switch to Orgovix, in which case I'm taking pills 3 times a day anyway. So another pill, which is when I
there you go.
Yeah. So I will just get that as my plan, and then also more to be revealed.
Okay, we got to move on. Joe Siri.
Yeah, quick update. And that is, I think I wrote this to you last week. Was on, well, you're calling it Casodex. It's bicalutamide. And there were reasons for that. The Lupron shot was given March 3rd, and I stopped the Casodex and started the Adder. You guys know what the name of that, abiraterone, and started that on the 13th. So I haven't, as some of you have suggested to me, that I haven't been on anything long enough, but I feel okay. And before I started the abiraterone, the PSA went from 0.3, which I think I wrote to you last week, to 0.2.
Okay. So let me just, so when did you actually get your first Lupron shot?
March 3rd.
Okay. And you did the Casodex before then, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And when did you start your abiraterone?
March 13th.
Okay. So you started both Lupron and AD and Abby prednisone. And how are you taking your abiraterone?
It's a pill, 250 milligram.
Okay, so are you taking that with food?
Yes.
Okay, so you're.
I thought I had to. I thought they suggested that. So.
Well, there are 2 ways to take it. One way is 1,000 milligrams before food, and the other way is 250 with food. We like the 250 with food, which is the way they're giving it you, which makes sense at Kaiser because they're saving money. So, any questions for the guys here?
Not right off. Although I found the discussion about whether to go on to Orgovix an interesting discussion, but that has not come up with any of the doctors I spoke with.
Well, it won't because you're at Kaiser, so they have their formulary and they want to save money, etc., etc. But it's a good. Orgovix is a better drug if you can advocate for yourself. You do have some prior heart issues, don't you?
No.
Oh, you don't. Okay. All right. No worries. No worries. Okay.
Is that the issue with abiraterone and prednisone? Is heart?
Well, the
Where's the
abiraterone is not quite as healthy for the heart as the is not the most healthy, and Orgovix is probably a better drug if you have heart issues, but it's not huge, but it's definitely there.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera, guys, but I'm trying to take notes at the same time, so you'll just have to forgive me. Yes, Jim.
Chiming in, Joseph, that is low-fat food, right?
That is.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay.
Fish.
Yeah.
Check it.
No.
Yep. Okay. Anything else for Joe, or can we move along? Tom O in Jersey.
Oh. Hello, good evening. Coming over from the other group. So I did get a chance to have conversations with my radiologist here at the branch in Basking Ridge. They spoke to Dr. Nagar in the city. They also spoke to the physicist, and they all came to the same conclusion that and they are actually using a LINAC machine here in Basking Ridge as an update. But it's not an MRI LINAC. But I'm not worried about that that won't happen until May anyways. Currently, I'm just on the meds. I did the injection February 5th, started on the pill treatment on March 3rd, taking Orgovix, prednisone, and abiraterone, however they say that one. So far, no real side effects, a couple hot flashes, but it was a real good, promising call. Thank you, Rick, for the nudge. I'll call it a nudge last week to get a hold of the doctors in the city, because once they all responded back and they got back, New York got back to me really quickly, like within 15 minutes. And they got on board with the radiation team here in Basking Ridge, and they meet regularly. They didn't make my.
Let me ask you a question, because we're familiar. How many sessions are they going to give you at Basking Ridge?
25.
And if you went into Nagar in the city with his MRI LINAC, how many sessions would they give you there?
Nagar City wouldn't use the MRI LINAC.
Why?
Because even though there's evidence outside the prostate, in the pelvic area they got to get to, they said the LINAC machine and the low dose, longer treatment is the better way to go.
Okay. All right.
But I got to admit, I like shaking trees and making sure I'm getting the right care. So.
Okay. Well, if that's Dr. Nagar's opinion, and it is because of the areas, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I guess it's low in the pelvic, and they can't biopsy it, and they can't get at it. So it's a faint light up on the PT scan. It was a faint light up, so they classified it as indiscernible. So because they can't tell, because they can't biopsy it. So,
Tom, this is John. Would you mind emailing me your PSMA PET report?
Sure.
Thank you. I'll put my email in there. That area is so vague that I just want to look into it a little bit more.
Okay. I have that. I'll have to scan that to myself. I'll do that after. But
thanks.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I got to write that down because I will forget. You want how many? Both of them? The PSA.
PSMA PET scan.
Okay. Look, I mean, if you're not a candidate, then understood. And if Nagar's looked at it and Nagar thinks that this is the best form of treatment, I think that's a very good second opinion. And I would say go with that. But send the information to Dr. John and he'll work with you.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Okay, and now what are they doing? What are they doing in terms of the hormone therapy?
We're doing the Orgovix, prednisone, and abiraterone.
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 And have you started that yet?
Yeah, started those March 3rd.
Okay. And you just heard that one gent here is getting it with food, and you can take it with or without food. How are you taking it?
So they're all just, some are I'd have to go look at the jar. I don't have it in front of me.
But you know how you take it. Do you take it before your food or you take it with food?
Everything I'm taking right now is with food.
You take it with food?
Yes.
Okay, so you're probably taking the smaller dose, which is 250 milligrams. So that's all we wanted to check up. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts for Tom? All right. Moving right along, and thank you for coming in, Dr. John. I'm sorry you had no power and everything else. I thought I was a little worried after that photograph you sent me. I thought maybe the bears had gotten you.
You thought I got eaten by a bear, right?
Yeah, I thought the bears. Now I cannot show you that picture because it's on my phone. But I will tell you that Dr. John had promised to send me a picture as soon as he saw a bear in his backyard, and this big mother of a bear was coming down on his back window, on his rear window of his house, rear door of his house, about 2 hours ago. And then I don't see him. So I get a little worried, you know, what's going on? What's going on here? But we're all okay. Dr. John's with us, and we can move right along. Steve L., I know you had a question tonight.
Yes. Well, for those who haven't been on for long, I was diagnosed de novo metastatic in December 2021, and then went castration resistant a few years later. My PSA has gone up from 0.3 to 0.39 over the last 13 weeks. And, you know, we've discussed changing from Lupron to Orgovix several times tonight already. I do have coronary artery disease. I had a triple bypass. I've also had a history of high blood pressure and high cholesterol, which are both currently controlled by medication. I see a HERO study indicating a 54% reduction in major adverse cardiovascular events with Orgovix over Lupron. Are there any other studies that show benefits of Lupron? I mean, benefits of Orgovix over Lupron?
I'm not sure, but the bottom line here, we know that Orgovix is a better drug. We know that men on Orgovix recover their testosterone more quickly. We know it drops and in your case, it doesn't matter because you're already down there. It's just, it's a better drug. It's a better drug.
Right. I have previously requested the change, so I'm feeling I'm going to need to argue it to get very far. So I'm just.
Well, you just tell them you want it. It's more convenient. It's more convenient. You'd rather take it. You know it's a better drug. You show them the HERO study. Jim Marshall, do you know another study? Can't hear you. Whatever happened with that big blow, it blew your microphone away. And your microphone's on, but I can't tell you what's happened.
I'll try to find something for you, Steve, also.
Okay,
I know that you and I went over this in the past, and Dr. Yashevsky surprised me by not agreeing
Yeah, and now it's
with us.
wrong, but yes.
And we got overruled.
Okay, moving on from that, changing an Abbey from abiraterone to one of the others. I remember reading one study indicating that it is you get a better response if you do that after BAT, bipolar androgen therapy. Is that well understood, or is that not necessarily what's commonly thought these days?
I would say that the first thing to do when you meet with Dr. Fong is to ask him, can we switch my ARPI? Because the abiraterone doesn't seem to be working any longer. And try and switch to darolutamide and see if you get a response. Okay, that's the low-hanging fruit. The next thing is, when was the last time you had a PSMA scan?
January 2025.
Right, so you need a PSMA scan, and let's take a look and see if there are any metastases that are available that we might be able to shoot. Okay?
Yes.
So those would be the first two things. When are you supposed to be seeing Larry?
Tomorrow.
Okay, well, give him my best, please. Tell him I said hi. And those to me would be the easiest ways starting point. To start getting into BAT, there are other considerations too. You may well be better off doing Pluvicto now than or you've never done any chemo. That's right, is it?
That's correct.
Maybe. So there's a lot of alternatives. Diving straight into BAT is not what I would do, because for me, BAT is always a short-term solution. And I don't want to say it's not well understood. It is well understood, but it depends on your doc. It depends what Larry thinks about it. But it wouldn't be the first thing that comes to mind as if my testosterone is creeping up. What do you have on this, Jeff Markey?
I was on abiraterone for 2.5 years. It gave me high blood pressure and AFib events. Not good for your heart. And I was only undetectable in that 2.5 years for 1 month. My PSA was jumping up and down all over the. I switched to darolutamide almost 3 years ago. I've been undetectable for 28 months. No BAT. I can't do BAT, but that's just figured I'd tell you. You can switch unless it's completely failed you. Unless Abby's completely failed you, it should work.
How do you? I mean. Yeah, my PSA did start coming up. That's why they classified as castration resistant. So does that show failure?
Well, it shows that the abiraterone is failing you, yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's why it's going up. It shows the abiraterone is failing you. So if the abiraterone is failing you, we have to try something else. I would disagree with Jeff Markey that it should work. It may work, is what I would say, because we don't know. It works for some people. It doesn't work for others. It worked for Jeff. It's a good suggestion. Try it. It's what endorses what I said. Other people might want to say, well, try enzalutamide first, or try abiraterone first, try apalutamide first. And, now there's people pushing this peace study with radium-223 and enzalutamide. I keep it simple.
Okay.
I'd start with the darolutamide, and maybe you get really lucky like Jeff and you can stay on darolutamide for a while, and then we don't have to worry about radionuclide drugs or chemotherapy or anything else.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything they want to
Len
say?
did say if Abby fails you that there is a lower chance of alutamide working. That was something Len had been discussing.
Well, the studies show that enzalutamide following abiraterone will work, whereas abiraterone following enzalutamide does not work. But we don't know for sure, and I think that might be the study the evidence that Jeff's referring to. Yeah, we know it can work, but we don't know if it works with darolutamide because that study's not been done. But they're so close that it's likely it could work. Okay, I'm going to keep on going because I'm watching my time and I've got 35 minutes plus, and I've still got quite a few people who want to talk. So, and please, if anybody has to leave and you asked for time, put a message in the chat window. Please let me know. Okay, so I can shift things around. Mike Wilmot, what's on your mind?
Just an update. I started. I had a PSMA PET scan 2 years ago, and they found some stuff spread around. So they put me on that Lupron right away, and then I met you guys, and you said I needed to get a GU oncologist, and you referred me down to Dr. Reddig at UCLA, and he is a sweetheart. I've never met him face to face, or I've never met him in person. Everything I've done with him has been on the telephone on a visit, video visit. But he put me on Nubeqa, darolutamide, about a year ago. And between the two of them, my PSA was down to nothing, and my testosterone was down to nothing. And they did just recently. We did we called it a nuclear medicine bone scan, and a CT scan, and another PET scan. And every one of those reports said no indication of cancer. So they worked, I guess. I guess I'm not cured. I've heard that word before, but Dr. Reddick said, well, just keep on keeping on. And I just wanted to give you guys an update.
Well, so right now you're still taking the Lupron and the darolutamide?
Correct.
And how long have you been taking those all together?
The Lupron will be a year this coming July, and the Lupron is coming up on its 1-year anniversary in April. So just a year on Nubeqa, and 18 months, I guess, on the Lupron injection.
So, I think that if it were me, the discussion that I might have with Dr. Reddick, because he does this, he's open to it, is how about moving to begin with to monotherapy darolutamide?
Okay, yeah, I could run that by him. I did ask him about a holiday, and he said, no, you just need to keep doing this for another year at least.
Well, why don't you, ask him, could you be a candidate for monotherapy darolutamide? Because he does use that. We've got a couple of guys he prescribes it to, and it might be easier on you.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan. If there's anything that would give me a little more energy, a little more muscle back, I'd like to try it.
Well, sell him on the that you want a muscle back and you've got fatigue and da. And how about monotherapy, Dr. Matt? What do you think? And he might just say yes.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. And the new Mike. And
Mike Cunningham.
Yeah, this group just opened my eyes. I am amazed at the information that we keep getting. So hang in there.
My eyes are definitely getting open, believe me.
What about anybody else have anything to say, or anybody? I know we've got one gent who's on monotherapy, darolutamide, on here. If he wants to pipe up. Well, it just might be.
Yeah, it's been great for me. It's been great for me, and I go on it, I go off of it, and just keep playing with it, and it's been working well. Right now, my PSA is rising very slowly. It's about 0.1 per month, and I'm having a CAT scan when I get back to Chicago, and if there's a couple of spots in my ribs, we'll hit it with SBRT, get back on darolutamide for 6, 8, 9 months, and then give it a break. So it's been a great way to live.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm going to keep going, but I do think it's a good option, and it's an especially good option when we know that your doctor prescribes it to other men. So, because sometimes you have to sell them on that protocol, but he's already sold on it if he thinks you're right. So you now have to be your own best advocate, Mike and Michael, and sell your case to him. I'm going on to Tony G.
Thanks.
Are you with us, Tony G? Oh, I don't see him, so we'll call him again in a minute. And we'll go to Tom Matika, who I do see, and we'll come back to Tony G. He might have dropped off, Tony G, and I didn't see. Tom Matika, come on in.
Yeah, okay. My topic is requesting suggestions about dealing with nocturia, and my notes. What I show that we had discussed a drug called solifenacin at one time, and I have a kind of a micro update here. I'm using Firmagon and Nubeqa successfully. My PSA is undetectable. I've been doing that for a couple of years with minor side effects. And recently I had an AFib event via heart monitor. So I started taking Eliquis, apixaban generic, and diltiazem. So that's where I am right now. I'm maintaining, I'm doing well, I'm exercising, and I'm active. But the nocturia is something I have not directly dealt with, and I'm wondering if there is any other preferred, the group has preferences for some way of dealing with that. I do the obvious things about drinking water and doing all this, but I have to drink a lot of water to counteract the arrhythmia associated with the heart issues and all that. So, what do you think?
Well, I'm no expert on this, but we've got Dr. John, who may have a few things to say, and we have Mr. Fisher, who may have a few things to say. In fact, he's the first one with his hand up. So go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. Well, For years, I've been taking Cialis, and if I get up more than twice, I pop 50 milligrams of Viagra. It works. And my doctor has prescribed it, in fact, for that. Shinohara at UCSF. There you go. There's also a treatment given by a...
What's the dosage?
Got his name. Rick might know his name. He's a urologist at UCSF, not an onc, but a regular old urologist. And he's now probably, he's exactly my age. He's like 75. He may not be there. He did a study using, and it was successful. I went to see him. Acupuncture once a week for 10 weeks in your ankles. You can Google it. But the Cialis does work.
Could you remind me? Do you still have a prostate or no?
Who, me?
Tom.
Oh, no, I had a prostatectomy in 2002.
Okay, thank you.
So the drugs that I'm thinking of that might work for you, but you'd have to check them out, and people on this group are going to know more about them, would be either Vibragon or Mirabegron, both of which are like second line drugs for frequency, and we've heard that they work well for some of our guys. Dr. John, you want to comment on Vibragon or Mirabegron?
Well, I think, considering that there's no prostate, and considering the Eliquis and diltiazem, I think we need a urologist. It's using drugs that have an effect on the bladder. I don't know. I would punt that one to a urologist.
Okay.
A little over my head as far as recommending any single drug unless it's cleared by urology and cardiology.
Okay, so you've got two drugs on there. You've got two drugs on there, Vibragon and Mirabegron, to discuss with a urologist. And then you've also got the Cialis to discuss with the urologist. Jeff Markey, do you have any other suggestions?
Yes. Well, I used to get up 2 or 3 times a night. I don't get up at all now. I'm on Myrbetriq, which is the same as Mirabegron. Another one is Gemtesa. That's an equivalent drug. Gemtesa.
Yeah, that's Vibragon.
Oh, okay.
I put that in the chat window. So same thing, Mirabegron, Vibragon, the Cialis.
I don't think the Cialis would work if there's not a prostate. The Cialis is for when you have an enlarged prostate, isn't it?
No, I've never heard it used for an enlarged prostate. That would be alpha
It's for
reductase.
BPH, right?
No.
No.
BPH.
BPH?
No. That's the Proscar and with an A. What's the other drug for BPH?
Finasteride? No.
Finasteride and dutasteride, whatever those are the finasteride is. I just lost it. No, Cialis is an ED drug.
Yeah, I know, but you can also take it 5 milligrams a day regularly for what I thought were symptoms of BPH.
Could be. I've never. That's a new one on me.
Yeah.
The doctors at Mayo prescribe it for people that have had prostatectomies in order to keep their blood flowing in their penis.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Every single day.
Right. That's the ED use.
Right.
But then how does that help somebody who's getting up at night too many times to pee?
No, I've not heard of that at all.
Okay, but it helps Dave, so we're not discounting it. And Shinahara prescribed it, and Tom Liu prescribed it to. No, not Tom Liu. It was the what's his name? Harvey. What's his name? The old head of the department. Who I know who you're talking about, Dave. I'd have to look it up. I always forget his name. But yeah.
Okay, could those the names of those pharmaceuticals be put in the chat list?
They are. Vibragon and Merbragon are in there, and Cialis is Cialis. I think you know, right?
Yeah, Cialis and Viagra. Yeah. And I was concerned. I mean, just a little bit of searching that I did. I want to be careful because of the heart issues. Some of those are not recommended to be used with a Daguerreolex Firmagon, and I'm using Firmagon, so it might be better for me to check with a urologist about that.
Well, to check with a urologist and also a cardio-oncologist, but we don't have one in the area yet. Hopefully we'll get one soon, but we don't have one in your area. You'd have to go up to Washington or go down to UCSF. Well,
there's a doctor forensic at OHSU that I've talked to. He's not my primary oncologist. Dr. Guo, Guo, at the Vancouver Clinic is my primary cardiologist. Dr. Forensic is in the area too, and he works out of OHSU. Ferencik, Dr. Forensic. And he is supposedly a cardio-oncologist.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have a look, and if he is, I didn't think there was one there, according to somebody in the other group, because we had a need there, and we've sent them down to a gent in a very good guy in San Francisco that Dr. John's worked with. But Dr. John, can you check out Dr. Forensic and see if he is what he says he is?
Okay, I will. Can you put the spelling in, Tom?
Yes. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
All right, we gotta keep moving along. Tony G, second call. Are you back? No, Tony G. Okay, we're moving on down the line, and we are into our discussion about this fancy new trial that I know Mark and Kathy are very interested in. Maybe Robert A. So I'm going to turn this over to Dave. And Dave, tell us a little bit about, very briefly, your situation and about this trial you found, and let's air it because it's definitely interesting.
Yeah. Okay, my situation, diagnosed 2010, had brachytherapy, have had a low PSA for 14 years, like 0.1 or lower, whatever. About 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever, 9 months, it started coming up. I'm now at just about 0.4. I went to see, I go to UCSF, and I see two guys there, Mac Roach, and what's Arawal's first name? Rahul Arawal. One's a radio specialist, the other's more, I don't know, oncology.
Medical oncologist.
Yeah, you got it. It's great. When it's so cool. When my lips move, it comes out of that one. Anyway, and they both. I had a PET and a CT99 because I wanted to get into a study, and this is a study that I'm going to be interviewed for on Monday. This is the first one I want to mention. And I don't know if you guys know this already. This is an NIH study.
Everybody's familiar with the long game clinical trials.
That's how I found out about it. That there's no news there, and they're very clear that there's no treatment. They just monitor the crap out of you, and that's all it is. The study I found, I can, if you want, I can share a screen.
Well,
If
I put the
I
link in the chat window, so let's just go with that for the time being.
Okay. It's a study by oh God. They
Kishan, Dr. Kishan at UCLA.
Yeah. You know, you're going to be better at describing it. I mean, I know what it is, but to spit out all this stuff is much easier for you than for me, Rick.
Okay.
And I found another one also. That's a Stanford UC. It's a Novartis study. It does almost the same thing that's open.
Okay. So
go ahead and.
Okay. So the study that Dave sent me over the weekend is called the ANDROMEDA study. I put the link in the chat window. It's very similar to the Luna study, which we talked about, I think at the beginning of the year. I want to say January. I think I wrote it up in a reminder, if I'm not mistaken, where you get one shot of I'm going to just silence. I'm just going to silence you, Jim K, for a second because I'm getting feedback. You get one shot of lutetium, Pluvicto. Actually, sorry, 2 shots of Pluvicto, and then you do SBR, and then you do some sort of SBRT on your metastasis. And that study had great results, showed pretty good endurance without ADT, and that study is closed. This next study that Kishan is doing at UCLA is comparing an alpha radionuclide, an actinium-225 to lutetium 177. You do either one treatment of the alpha actinium or 2 treatments of the beta lutetium, and then you follow that up with between 1 and 5 SBRT treatments. And in fact, what's happening, what they're doing is they're taking the radionuclide treatment and they're applying it systemically in place of doing an ADT. So you're not doing any ADT, but you are doing a radionuclide treatment, and they want to see if that works as well as it did in the Luna study. And you're randomly assigned between the actinium, the alpha molecule, and the beta molecule. I don't know anything about the other study that Dave's found. By the way, Dave found these studies using AI, which is a great use for AI. So I just want to throw this out to anybody who's thinking about, who has recurrence, and it's not real aggressive recurrence, but they've got METs, and they're thinking, how do I pursue this? Because this combination of radionuclide plus SBRT is an easy option for the patient if it's durable. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, they I think you have to go down every 3 months. So they monitor you. So you'll find out soon enough if it's durable. I live in San Francisco. It's not a problem. I can go down there for a day. I'm going to talk to them next week also. But basically, as Rick says, it's kicking the can down the road on the ADT. and maybe long enough where I never have to do ADT. Who knows? That's wishful thinking, but that's the hope here. And yeah.
Questions from the Baldridges?
Well, I guess how ready is these alpha radionuclides, because there are some side effects with those, right?
Well, there are side effects from both the alpha and the beta.
Yeah.
So how ready? We don't have an alpha approved right now in this country, but alphas have been approved for quite some time in other countries, and they're used in Australia, they're used in Germany, they're used in other countries, and I happen to think that they're pretty good, but I can't really tell you what the difference is. We know guys who have failed on betas, they've gone to an alpha and they've done quite well on an alpha for a while.
Okay.
But does it have an FDA approval for use outside of a trial yet? No. But would I be concerned about it? No more concerned than I would be about Pluvicto. Even though they work differently. So for those who don't know, the lutetium is more of a sort of a blast that covers a wide area, and the actinium is more specific. The actinium drills down on a certain area. Now, Jeff Markey says the actinium major problem is dry mouth. Well, that's the major problem with Pluvicto. That's the major problem from Pluvicto. That said, we seem to think that actinium has less dry mouth than Pluvicto.
Okay.
Because it's more, because it, when it finds a molecule, it doesn't spread out. It's more specific.
Okay.
It doesn't travel as far.
Two more questions. Number one, is this like a phase 2 trial? And number two, oh gosh. So for the actinium, do they specifically target the lesion?
So it is a phase 2 trial, but there is no targeting of the lesion. This is like the way that let me back up. The trial targets the lesion. That's the SBRT part of the trial.
Okay.
Okay. The actinium and the lutetium don't target the lesion. They're systemic.
Okay. Okay.
So you get those with an infusion or an injection, and they just go anywhere where you're expressing PSMA.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. But the lesion would be, in your case, the lesion in your skull would be targeted with SBRT. In Dave's case, the lesion on L3 would be targeted with SBRT. Okay. And they give themselves leeway between up to 5 treatments. So you may only need a single treatment with one single lesion. If this is oligometastatic, so that means either 4 or 5. I don't know what definition they're using. So that's why you might have to have up to 5 treatments.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, up to 5 treatments. Yeah. 1 to 5.
Dave, any other questions for you?
No, I just posted another study I found at UCSF. Open label study comparing 177 LU versus observation in PSMA positive OMPC.
Yeah, but Dave, this is probably unrelated. Don't just.
Yeah, are you sure? Why is that unrelated?
Why is it unrelated? Because this could be a systemic trial, not for oligometastatic. Is this for oligometastatic? Or is this just a lutetium trial? I mean, it's easy to come up with trials. We can come up with trials all the time, but we have to find appropriate trials. This is really appropriate, this ANDROMEDA, for somebody who has oligometastasis, like the Baldridges or like Dave. But trials that are testing whether Pluvicto or something similar to Pluvicto with a beta trial may not have any relevance to the situation that you guys are in. Just because it says lutetium doesn't mean it is a trial, that it's the right trial. Okay, I mean, the Luna trial would have been great.
It's oleo. Go check it out. I can't read it all now. I read it before. It looked like it was appropriate.
Now, this is Stanford or this is UCSF?
UCSF. It's. I put the link in the. Yeah,
right. And did you?
Maybe it's fluff, but it looked good to me.
Right. It's kind of hard for us to check out trials at the same time. You know, you got to be. Of course not. You got to be looking at these. What was the Stanford thing you were talking about?
Oh boy, I've got to go look through my notes. I'm sorry, I can't whip it out now. Okay. It's something like this. It's another LU77. The trouble with it was that they were it's random and you don't know which group you're going to be in. So I have to ask them about that.
Okay, well, I'll take a look at this other oligometastatic trial, but this is definitely something that you should be discussing with Mac, and you should be discussing with Rahul.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're appropriate. I do know because I've looked at the UCLA trial. It looks like a really good trial.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going down there with a bouquet of flowers next week.
Good for you. Right way to go. Mr. Muslin, what are you thinking?
So the question I have is, so is this applicable to a situation like myself where you're hitting the known tumor with SBRT? For me, it's in my bones, usually on my ribs, 1 or 2 spots show up. But is this more of a systemic in addition to SBRT? Is that really what we're talking about here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The only problem for somebody like you is that you have to have been off all hormone therapy for 6 months before you're eligible.
Got it.
And if you have less than 5 METs, it's definitely applicable for somebody like you and may allow you not to go back on hormone therapy.
Got it. Okay.
Let's go down there, Muslim, and get in there. We'll break down the doors.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk to my buddy Russell Schmuel with the University of Chicago, see what he says. Okay, very good.
But yes, definitely. And this is why I wanted to air it, because I think there are people that might find it helpful in this group. Gary, I think you're another person who might find something like this helpful at some point. Gary Peters.
I was just taking a look at some of the eligibility criteria. You need a much stronger testosterone count than I have at the moment.
Testosterone count?
Yeah, for some reason they're asking for testosterone over 150 for the trial.
Okay. The reason they're doing that is because they want to make sure you're not naturally suppressing. It's the old Jim Marshall argument that if your testosterone isn't so high enough, you're on ADT without being on ADT. And that's why they want you up around over 150. I suspect.
Okay. Well, thanks for raising it.
But keep an eye on it, because I think that these are really solid treatments for people who would like to avoid the ADT, but they want a systemic treatment more than just metastasis-directed therapy.
Right.
Anybody, anything else to discuss on this with anybody here? Okay. So it's 6:58, but I've only got one, maybe two people left. Let me just check. Russ Hoover, you didn't ask me for time, did you? I put a tick by your name, but I don't think you asked me for time.
No, I didn't. Thank you.
No, okay. So all I've got is still Tony G, who went AWOL. We still don't have Tony G back, so he must have had to drop off. And then we have our last guy, which is amazing because we've got 2 minutes left and we've got Jim Kubak. Jim, are you with us? I'll mute you. Hold on a minute. Send unmute. Okay. You have to try unmuting yourself, Jim. I sent you an unmute request. Or are you not on the telephone as well, Jim? Ooh. Somehow or other you need to unmute yourself. If you're on the telephone, I don't know. Keep muted and I'll send you an unmute request.
What does that symbol mean when we have a crossed out telephone down in the corner there of your name?
Muted.
No, muted is a crossed out microphone. Jim's got a crossed out telephone.
Yeah, because he called in on the telephone and we were getting feedback, so I muted him.
Oh, okay. I got you. Thanks.
Okay. So, Jim, you may have to call back in again if you can't figure out how to unmute yourself. We'll wait for you. Hang up and call in one more time and we'll wait for you. Anybody who came in late want to jump in before Jim Kubak comes back? Okay. Nobody? No, nothing? That's good. So let's just hang on. Let's just hang on for him. He'll come in as caller 08, I think. He left, so he's dialing back in. And I just want to make sure that Jeff G, did you get the message earlier on that the times?
Rick, Jeff.
Yeah, I got you, Jim. Hold on one second. Jeff G, here in Arizona, the meeting time changes when the clocks change.
Yeah, somehow my phone had me on Denver time, and
well, you are on Denver time. You're on Denver Standard Time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
for
know.
some reason, my meeting.
So that's what happens. So here, if you're living in Tucson, the meeting starts an hour earlier, and so the Monday meeting starts at 5, and the Tuesday meeting starts at 3. So, okay, Jim Kubak, hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, great. So here's the deal.
Yes.
January 24th, the AnCan email discussed an article in the journal Nature about disseminated tumor cells, which are dormant cells. So the topic was cancer dormancy, and it was based on an article written by, I think, a woman Last name is Heidt, Heidt, and it came out this year. The title of the article was Why Cancer Can Come Back Years Later and How to Stop It. So here's my question. I see my medical oncologist at Dana-Farber, and I was getting a biannual PSA check, and my PSA has been undetectable since like 2019. I was getting it biannual. A year ago, last January, he told me when I turned 70 that the likelihood of my dying from prostate cancer is statistically less than dying from something else. So he recommended I go to just an annual PSA check. So when I read the article about dormant cancer cells, I emailed him and I said, what are the chances of my cancer coming back, considering this article on dormant cancer, and would it make sense for me to go back to biannual checks? His reply was that the dormancy of cancer cells does not really apply to prostate cancer because they can see the cancer activity, and so they would know if the cancer is coming back, and so every 12 months would still be okay. But he said if I want to go back to biannual, that would be fine. So my question for you, anybody, is considering I've been undetectable for like 9 years now, or 8, and this dormancy, does the dormancy article apply to prostate cancer cells as well as other cancers? And if so, should I go back to a biannual PSA check?
Oh, I think I'll throw this one at Dr. John.
Well, I don't know how high of a risk you were at the beginning when you first were diagnosed, Jim, but 9 years of undetectable is when you do start whispering the cure word once in a while. However, we have seen people recur after enormous amounts of time in the past. So I don't know. You got Dana-Farber. You probably have an excellent medical oncologist and can find out what his or her opinion is about that. But if you were originally had a genetic variant that predicts an aggressive form of cancer, or if you were particularly high risk, or if you were metastatic, then I would say stick with every 6 months. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost much. And so, yeah, that's what I think. I mean, if you were a low risk person, but you did have a recurrence, right? A couple of years after your original treatment, and your recurrence was treated with radiation therapy. Did that kill it all? Well, it's behaving as if it did. So you have some risky features going against you, which is that you had a recurrence, but you have some very positive features going for you. The only thing is that the risk of doing a PSA one extra time a year is 0. So when you set that risk against even a small benefit, it comes out in favor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's how I tend to think. But there's the cancer dormancy that article was addressing. So you think that also applies to prostate cancer cells?
I do.
Okay.
I mean, we have seen people recur after very long periods of time. Now, whether you call that dormancy or whatever, I don't know.
Dr. John, we got an example, but except he's hiding in the trees behind Bob Schwartz. I don't know where he is. he was right next to Kubat on the screen, but now he's gone. Fisher, are you there?
Is that David you're talking? Yeah.
Yes. Where are you, Dave? Where are you? He's no, he must be feeding the dog. But Dave's cancer came back after 15 years. 3 + 4.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I know a guy who was initially diagnosed probably in his 70s. He's now around 94. His cancer just recently came back. His doctor is taking a very conservative approach considering his age at this point in terms of treatment, although he is starting to go back into treatment. And so, it's things like that just make me wonder, so okay. Well, that's good enough for me. I just have to think about it. I really like my doctor, my med-onc at Dana-Farber. He's a great guy.
I mean, he's very smart. What's his name? Begins with a P. What's his name?
Yeah, it's Mark Pomerantz.
Pomerantz, yeah. Pomerantz is a very good GU medical oncologist. I mean, everybody's got their own different opinions on this. I mean, I bet you if we put 10 of these guys together, half of them would say, oh yeah, it doesn't come back. Half of them would say it is dormant. Half of them say it isn't dormant. Neil, what are you thinking about dormancy?
Well, I was diagnosed at 62 years old or 61 years old or had my prostate out at 61 years old, and 11 years with zero PSA, and it started to come back, and it came back to where I had 11 years later, I had radiation and ADT for a year. And so that was back to, zero PSA and everything else. And now it's coming back a third time. So I don't know where it is. No PSMA scan didn't show anything. So we're just kind of sitting and waiting to come up a little bit. But is it dormant? I guess so. It's been 13 years in total. So we'll see.
Yeah, see, that's interesting. I had my radical prostatectomy at my diagnosis when I was 62, and I got the surgery 4 months later. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that makes me wonder about this. So I'm just wondering.
Well, I'm sorry, Jim, but I would just say that I continued to get my blood PSA every 3 months. I did go to 6 months for a number of years there, but why not? It doesn't take long, doesn't cost anything, and we were lucky to find it when we did.
Neil, did you say you had a PSMA scan this year?
I have not. No, I did not get a PSMA
you're talking about your old one. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the old one, and I'm waiting. I go to Argowal at UCSF, and we're going to wait until it's over 0.4. So it's around 0.3 now. So we'll see. So we wanted to wait until at least 0.4, 0.5.
Jeff Markey, what's up?
There is I got a report about this about a month ago, and the researchers are discovering dormant cells are disseminated cancer cells and associated with breast, prostate, lung, colon cancers. What they're saying that the dormant cells actually get sent out before or early in the prostate cancer process, early when you get it, and sent out to a lot of your different cells, a lot of your different tissues. They convert to a something that cannot be seen by normal techniques. There's a group that's actually trying to find them now and treat them. And they say that the reason what happens is you get really sick, you get some sort of major stress on your body, the dormant cells get reactivated, and the cancer comes back, and that's what causes it.
Right.
Now, I have something in Dropbox that I posted for people to be able to review this document.
Yeah, who generated that Who generated the research?
Unfortunately, I'd have to leave here to go to Dropbox and look it up.
So,
but
I think
there's
Len,
one of the studies is Amanda Heidt, Heidt.
Right. That I think that's who Jim just quoted.
That's one of them. This is there's another one I have that talks about them actually working on finding a way to find
Right.
these cells.
So I think Len wrote this up. I think it was Len who wrote it up in a. Do you remember, Dr. John, that we had one of you guys wrote something up on these dormant cells a while back.
Wasn't me.
Then it must have been Len, and we don't have Len tonight. Otherwise, he would remember. But yes, Bob Schwartz, you had something you wanted to say on this.
Yeah, Jim, all I got to say is what Rick said, trust your gut. Right now you're questioning it. So that means it's something that's bothering you a little bit. It doesn't hurt to have it done, like everybody said, Dr. John said. It's not invasive. It's going to probably give you peace of mind. If you feel that way, no matter what your doctor says, go with it. You're the one who has to live with it and live with the consequences. If you feel like it, do it. If you don't, don't. If it were me, I'd be doing it. I do mine every 90 days now because I'm still getting my treatment. But once I can go, they tell me to go a year, Every 6 months, you're going to see my ass in there. That's me.
Okay. So there may be some, to summarize, there may be something to this dormancy. There may not. There are articles. There's, we got to check where if they're studying mice or if they're studying men, because that can be a problem too. We don't know who they're studying. This is why we sort of like to see stuff before, so we get a feel for what it's about. And our main expert on dormancy, Len Sierra, isn't here, but you can send a message to Len, and you can ask him. And Jeff Markey has posted some sort of a link, so hopefully that'll download it and you can check. But I agree with the general consensus that it's not much of an inconvenience to get 2 PSAs a year if you're worried about it. And we can't answer whether dormancy is a solid concept for prostate cancer or not. Dr. Pomerantz is a very, very good GU medical oncologist. He doesn't think it is, but there are probably other GU medical oncologists who do think. So that's both sides of the argument.
Yep. Makes sense. Good stuff. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, look, RJ found it. That's because RJ's working on this project for us. Here it is in the 124 reminder. That's how long ago it was. Bloody hell, 2 years ago. Cancer dormancy, the silent sleeping DTC cells. Thank you very much, RJ. Great job.
Yep, that was this year. It's the January 24th of this year. So.
Oh, this year, January 24th. Oh yeah, I didn't think it was that long ago. He wrote, and it was Len, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I think so.
Okay.
Rick, we don't want to hear that it was you or me, and we've completely.
No, it wasn't you or me. It could have been Ben. It could have been Ben if it was that late, but I think it was a Len reminder. That's what I think. On 124 of this year, cancer dormancy. That's when we saw it. 124 of this year. All right, we'll read it. Thank you very much. All right, guys, we're 15 minutes over. We had a great discussion on dormancy. Next week, I'm not sure who's going to be taking the meeting, but it won't be Ben because he has a new grandchild. We do know that.
Congratulations, Ben.
So come on back, and I'll take a look at Dave Fisher's second trial, and I'll try and figure out if it's appropriate or not, and I'll send it to anybody I think could use it. We can also look and see if it has a testosterone requirement or not. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thank you.